Hello and welcome to the Happy Families podcast. The research is bleak. Approximately 17%, 1 in 6 Australians aged 15 and above, reports feeling lonely. Social isolation is high. In fact, with young people between 15 and 25, 43% say that they are lonely. Now, if you compare that to historical trends, historically it was always the older Australians that were the loneliest, but we keep on seeing younger and younger people feeling lonely. The thing is, it's not just young people and it's not just old people, it's kind of everybody, because everybody is, what's the word? Oh, that's right, so busy. Well, today on the Happy Families podcast, we share some advice, not so much for the kids, but for us as adults, on how we can strengthen relationships, build relationships, and make friendships feel fantastic. Stay with us. Hello, welcome to the Happy Families podcast, where you get real parenting solutions, real well-being solutions every single day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. Kylie, we've experienced loneliness. We've moved house a number of times, including several interstate moves over the decades, and we've had to start again. We've had to make friends many, many times. Today on the pod, 3 ideas to help make friendships happen when you're a grown-up and reaching out can feel a little bit tricky.
In the early stages when you and I were moving fairly regularly.
Oh, my radio career?
Yeah.
Yeppoon, Rockhampton, Brisbane,
Warrnambool,
Traralgon, Newcastle, back to Brisbane. Yep.
I was super blessed with a very gregarious 18-month-old little girl who just loved people.
Yep.
We would literally go to the park, and by the time we had finished at the park, she had dragged me over to meet some mum, and we became friends.
Yeah.
We would say, let's meet up at the park tomorrow. Our kids got on really well. And then we'd meet up at the park the next day, and then the next day. And before you knew it.
I think that's unusual, though. I've got to say, do you think that's still happening?
I don't think it happens very often at all.
We retreat to our phones. The kids are playing. We focus on the kids. Then we focus on our phone. Then we get out of there before anybody puts us in an uncomfortable position, makes things feel a little bit awkward.
We watched that happen literally in the lift the other day. We got in the lift and somebody else got in, and as soon as they realised there was somebody else in the lift, they pulled their phone out so they didn't have to make eye contact or small talk.
They almost got back out of the lift, except the door was closing and they were a little bit too late for that. There's going to be a guest on the Happy Families podcast soon who talks about how human socialisation works. I'm going to be interviewing him just in the next few days. The interview will show up shortly. But he did this fascinating study where he stopped people as they were getting on the train in Pennsylvania, heading into New York City for work. And you've been on the train in New York City. Nobody talks. Everybody sits there. It's kind of scary, except for the people who are dancing or singing or going a little bit crazy. But
except for the night we sat on the train and this guy literally fell asleep on your shoulder.
Well, there was that as well, yeah. And then there are the times where we've started conversations with people because we've been a bit lost or a bit uncertain about what's going on. But generally speaking, people don't talk to random strangers on public transport. And this researcher, he would say to people, I want to do a quick well-being test. Can you fill in this, or can you answer these 3 questions about your well-being? And then he would literally say, when you get on the train, I'd like you to talk to somebody, talk to a stranger, have a chat, have a random conversation with somebody. How do you feel about that? And people would just consistently saying, no way, this is nuts. I don't feel comfortable. This does not feel nice. And he was like, well, do it and give me a number and I want to follow up and see how it went. And what he found was invariably people who did it reported higher levels of well-being. Like we crave connection. We love it when we go down to the local cafe and they know our name and they call out our name and they've got our order right, or when they see us and they smile and their eyes light up because they know who we are and that we're a regular. Whatever it is, we crave connection, and yet we seem to push away from it. So 3 things that can make a really big difference in building relationships. I want to start with the magic number, 50 hours. So there's a researcher at the University of Kansas, Professor Jeff Hall, found that it takes roughly 50 hours of time to move from mere acquaintance to casual friend, 90 hours to go from that stage to friend status, and more than 200 hours before you can consider someone your close friend. That's what we're up against. You have to put in the time.
So what I love about this is the tension we have around getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. when we're starting a relationship, no matter what it is, a romantic relationship, a friendship, an acquaintance, a work colleague, whatever, there is always a level of uncomfortability that comes with the new connection.
Well, because that means that you're starting to expose yourself a little bit, vulnerability, sharing things about your life. Am I going to be rejected? How fragile are they? How fragile am I? Are they going to say something weird? There's all of these things that you're constantly thinking about. What happens if they like somebody politically that I don't like?
Or you just have an awkward silence and you don't and you don't know how to fill it, or you run out of questions, or the other person doesn't seem interested.
Yeah.
Like there's all of these things that are quite benign in and of themselves.
We overinterpret them.
But we do overinterpret them, and we don't like the feeling of being uncomfortable or not feeling in control of the situation. And we also take rejection in the moment as something personal, as opposed to the realization that it might just be poor timing. There might be other things going on in their life at the moment, but we make it much bigger than it is.
So if everyone's so busy, it's really hard to find 50 hours to spend with somebody. And
it's 50 intentional hours, right? It's not, you don't go and watch 50 hours of TV together.
No.
It's not going to build a relationship.
Correct. Let me give an example of this, though. The homeschool group. First few times you showed up to the homeschool group, nobody was really chatty with you. You weren't sure how you could break your way into the mums that were all chatting. But over time, as you built up that 50 hours, you became
They're my
friends.
lifeline.
They
Literally my lifeline.
They have become that now. Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same whether you're in a church group or in a workspace or at the local sports club, surf club, whatever it is that you're doing. When you put the hours in, that's when the relationship develops. If you don't put the hours in, you never create the depth that's required. Again, I just find this fascinating. 50 hours to go from, oh yeah, I know this person, to yeah, we're friends, or we're casual friends, like we can catch up, but it's somewhere closer to 100 hours before you're like, hey, I want to send you a text and share this thing with you that I saw because I know that you'd really like it and it's really funny. Or 200 hours where you're saying, hey, let's get our families together and catch up and really hang out.
Well, you know what? I've just had a really, really bad day and I just need to debrief with someone.
Yep, exactly. 200 hours. So time, you've got to put the time in, otherwise the relationship doesn't work. After the break, I want to share what I think is the most important way for us as adults, and probably, frankly, for our children as well, to build meaningful friendships, especially if we're feeling lonely. Stay with us. Hello, we're back with the Happy Families podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast, please share it with a friend. Please like it. Please share it. Please, 5-star ratings and reviews. We really love those ones. They make a difference for people finding the pod. Kylie, here's my second idea. This is the big one for me. I call it aggressive friendship. Aggressive friendship.
Yeah, I push back on that because...
Can I just get it out? That's very aggressive of you to push back.
Yeah. All right, carry on.
Let me tell you what I mean by that.
Okay.
Maybe a friendlier phrase would be, don't wait, initiate. What I'm sort of saying is...
I think that everybody's been in a situation where there's been somebody who hasn't taken no for an answer. That to me is aggressive friendship. It's someone who is desperate to be in your circle and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't
when you
feel
say
right.
that, I feel like the close talker who's getting in your...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not what I mean. No.
So that's why I'm pushing back.
Okay, yeah. So don't wait, initiate. Being a gentle nag... is what I mean.
I hear you say that.
I'm going. Are you coming?
I can think of a handful of people that I actually really love spending time with. Every time we bump into each other accidentally at the shops, we haven't planned it. We happen to bump into each other.
Yeah.
Both our faces light up. We're so excited to see each other, and we stand around for 15, 20 minutes and we have a quick chat and catch up.
And you're like, we should get together.
And then we literally leave the conversation with, we have to catch up. Let's do it.
We have a neighbour literally across the road, and every time I see them, I'm like, oh, Nick, Caroline, we've got to spend time together. Every time we see them out on the road, we end up having like a 30-minute chat in the driveway or in the middle of the road as the cars are going past. And they're like, yeah, we need to. But we've never actually initiated it. It's always the spontaneous random chat.
And that's the challenge. If we don't actually initiate a plan of action, then these friendships that could actually be the bee's knees and light up our world continue to be accidental catch-ups.
All right, so don't wait, initiate is better than aggressive friendship. Let me share an example of this, though, because it doesn't work. And this goes back to your being willing to be uncomfortable. we have planned a surf trip for next April, right? Like we're a year in advance because we're having our quarterly getaways and we're discussing when we're going and where we're going and all that sort of thing. And you're going to come with me on this surf trip. It's to a wonderful place in Indonesia. And I sent out an invitation to 20 of my friends who surf. That's a lot of invitations. And I said, Kylie and I are going in April to this place. Here are the details. Here are the dates. There's no expectation. We understand that you've got other things to spend your money on. And this is maybe it is, maybe it isn't your kind of thing, but we would love to spend some time with you if you'd like to join us. The surf retreat can only handle, I think, about 8 couples. It's a fairly small retreat, but all 20 of them came back to me. Actually, several of them didn't come back to me at all, but pretty much all 20 of them came back and said, can't make it. No, got something else planned. Doesn't fit within the budget. My surf trip next year is to blah, blah. Right. So I got rejected by 20 people, but I didn't wait. I initiated. And then while I was having a random conversation with an acquaintance, somebody that I definitely have not spent 50 hours with, but somebody that I'd love to spend more time with, I said to him, hey, Ant, you really like surfing, don't you? He lives in Victoria. He's not even close to us and we barely see each other. And in fact, I don't think I've seen him for 3 or 4 years. And I said, Kylie and I are going to go away to this place. We're going to go on this trip. And he said, I've got a mate who's been there. He raves about it. I said, well, here are our dates. If you're keen, we'd love to have you come along. So he's now having a legitimate conversation with his wife about whether or not that would work because he wants to come along. And all of a sudden, this relationship that I've always hoped to see germinate and really build into something, maybe it will, because if you spend a week on a surf retreat with another person, you're going to get your 50 hours, probably 100 hours, maybe more. And then you build a relationship. Then you're that person who you catch up more regularly. You have those conversations more frequently, and it just feels so good.
It's all about shared experiences. It's about building that folio of time together.
Right.
And the thing that stands out to me is the importance of face-to-face connection. We can have all of the likes and comments on our Insta page and
sending a meme to somebody.
Yeah, they are not going to have the impact on long-term, strong relationships that a face-to-face conversation will have. And you can have that face-to-face conversation once you're in a really good relationship, once every year. It's not like you have to be in each other's pocket every day to have strong connections, but face-to-face will outrun any other form of communication every day of the week.
So they're my 2 big ideas. Number 1, we want to not wait, initiate. And number 2, you've got to find a way to spend the hours. You've got to find a time to get side by side or face to face consistently, not all at once, but over a period of days and weeks and months so that the relationship will build. It doesn't happen online. It doesn't happen if you're so busy that you can't make it happen. And like if you're sitting at tennis and the kids are whacking balls across the net at each other and there's another parent who is 3 meters away from you at the next bench or the next table and you're both staring at your phone, put the phone down and say, hey, it looks like our kids are doing really well with the tennis. Get the conversation going.
Can I share a quick experience before we close up?
Yeah, let's do it.
So a handful of years ago, I was in a really, really dark place. I had probably spent a year in emotional agony. I'm going to use those words. And I hadn't spent any time connecting with anyone. And I woke up one morning and just realized that I didn't want to be that person anymore. But I felt so lost in having any kind of connection with people because of my circumstances for that 12 months. And so I looked around my community and there were a handful of women that I had admired from a distance that I just thought were absolutely stellar people and I would love to have them in my circle of friendship. But up until that point, I hadn't been in a position to reach out. So I made this grand gesture and I said, hey, I've had a really crappy year and I would love to go out and spend some time with good women. I'm wondering if you'd like to come and spend some time with me. All of those women said yes. And
they probably all said, and I've had a pretty rough year too.
And they did.
Yeah, really.
They did. And we went out that first night and I remember just feeling like the weight of the world had been lifted because there were other women who, for their own reasons, had had a really crappy year and were actually really excited that somebody had reached out and said, hey, let's just get together. And those friendships carried me through some really, really challenging times and just were so important in that stage of my life. And I'm so grateful for that. But it took me reaching out because none of those women would have initiated either.
All right. We hope that these ideas will spontaneously create a whole lot less loneliness and a whole lot more life, meaning, and relationship for you in your day-to-day. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media with additional assistance from Mim Hammonds. If you'd like more info to make your family happier or to get info about how to raise brilliant boys from the inside out, strong young men from the inside out, pre-order my book, Boys, online now at Booktopia, or join the waitlist at happyfamilies.com.au.